Hey y'all, Dr. Bookert here with Mint Health. As we all know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and most of us are terrified of getting breast cancer because it is very, very common. I'm going to talk to you today about what I feel is the most important things that we should be considering that everyone else is not telling you. Typically, what you're hearing during breast cancer awareness is make sure to get your mammogram, your breast screening, and that is really, really important. Early detection is critical, and I don't want to underestimate that at all, and I myself do all of those things as well. Also, all of the research and new development of treatments is amazing. Breast cancer treatments have advanced so much, and we are so appreciative of that. However, all of those things do not actually provide primary prevention for breast cancer. So we want to make sure that we're constantly thinking about that too. And the really cool thing is that the things that help actually prevent breast cancer in the first place prevent most of the other chronic illnesses and concerns that we struggle with as a population. So one thing is decreasing early puberty risk for girls. As we know, puberty is getting earlier and earlier for young ladies. And the most important thing to do for this is to promote and support normal BMIs in children. Why do I say this? Well, while the obesity and overweight percentage for grown-ups is really high, it's about 70% of Americans right now, the obesity rate in children is actually 1 out of 5 or 20%, and that continues to dramatically rise. So that is going to continue to push more cancers, including breast cancer, as well as early cardiometabolic disease in young people, supported by the fact that we know also breast cancer is increasing in young people. While the standard rate is about 1 out of 8 women, and this is increasing for all women, about 1% annually for breast cancer, the annual increase for women between 20 and 29 years old is 2.5%. So it's increasing at a more rapid rate in young women, most likely due to environmental exposures and these things that are happening in early life for young people. The other really important thing that we want to start preconceptually and in utero for our kiddos is learning how to, as best as we can, it's never going to be perfect, avoid xenoestrogens like bisphenol or BPA and phthalates, which a lot of that's plastics and other sources and other endocrine disruptors truly through the lifespan. A lot of times we learn about this too late. I wish I had learned about it earlier in my life and before I was pregnant with my 2 kids who are biologic. I didn't. I learned it after, and I think about that all the time. So this is something I'm really passionate about teaching. A high fiber and a Mediterranean diet throughout our lifespan. A lot of this, we think about when we get older and our bodies start to change, but truly developing good habits and good nutrition patterns is so much more effective when kids are learning this as soon as they start eating. So we are also very, very passionate about supporting whole health for families and really love teaching this to moms and their families, especially preconception during pregnancy and when their kids are young, and you're training them to be able to consume a healthy diet for their life. Minimizing or avoiding alcohol, this is not a fun statement. And there's a lot of reasons that people will choose to have alcohol because it's fun, and that's great. I mean, that's fine. We can all make these decisions, but we don't want to fool ourselves into pretending it's not a risk, because it is. The statistics on that are that per MD Anderson, women who have less than 1 alcoholic drink a week have about a 1 out of 10 risk of breast cancer versus women who have on average 2 per day, which is a small serving, not a big serving like a lot of people have, are going to have more like a 1 out of 6 rate of breast cancer. So that's a really big difference, and a lot of people ask me, oh, what can I do to reduce my risk of breast cancer? The biggest things I tell them are try to find something else to do to have fun besides drinking alcohol, and really continue to work on your nutrition and your weight. Of course, daily physical activity is really, really important because of the metabolic impacts and the risk reduction that has. Breastfeeding our babies reduces breast cancer risk. Never giving up on normalizing your BMI, no matter how young or old you are, is going to be helpful. We also know that obesity after menopause increases breast cancer risk by about 20 to 60%. So that's really, really huge. It's hard to lose weight, but it's very, very possible, especially with all the new tools we have, and we want to do it in the most holistic way as we possibly can. And it's going to have a big impact on your breast cancer risk, as well as all of your other risks as you age. Managing your circadian rhythm, your cortisol curve, your nighttime melatonin, also super important. There's a lot of studies that show us that night shift workers and other kinds of shift workers do have increased risk of cancer, including breast cancer. Night melatonin is really, really important. So even those of us who just like sleep poorly or don't pay attention to it, it is a really important component for preventing cancer as well as many other chronic illnesses. And lastly is thinking about hormone replacement therapy in perimenopause and menopause. So for a while, we thought that that was one of the biggest risks for breast cancers. That science is still developing. At this point, we do believe that it is not the risk that we thought it was for a while, and is actually highly preventative in a lot of areas. But certainly, you should be less worried about properly dosed and time hormone replacement therapy and all of the quality of life benefits it can provide, as well as preventative efforts, versus alcohol, bad food, and giving up on normalizing your BMI. Those things are actually much more impactful to you when you're considering your breast cancer risk. So I hope this is helpful, and we look forward to working with you if this is a kind of approach that you want to take.